Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Open Mic episode 32. And I, of course, am the wonderful Liam99, your favorite sub driver, as always.
And there he is.
So, guys, there's a raid. Is there a raid? I'm not sure. I think there's a raid.
A raid? Did somebody say raid?
I heard something like that.
Something about driving. Was it subs or?
I thought it had to do with insect spray.
I think it was this weekend.
Was it? I thought it was next weekend. I thought this was the pre-raid discussion show. No, so there's obviously a raid, and I believe there's. I think it's fair to say that there's mixed opinions on the raid. Like there's those that have the tools to do it and are happy, and there's those that don't and are unhappy, and there's those that kind of have the middle range and are disappointed at the cost it's costing them, I guess. But that's what this panel of wonderful TFC community are here for tonight, and they are going to give you their opinion on the raid. So I guess I'll just ask you outright, how are you getting on the raid? How are you finding the raid? And I'll go left to right. So my farthest left is the wonderful Anne-Marie, a.k.a. Jeff. Jeff, how's your raid going, buddy?
Well, it's mixed. I can do a 105 if I'm very careful for about 3 coins, but I'm not very careful, so I end up spending about 8 coins.
8 coins. Nice. Yeah. Is that the 105s?
Yeah. But the 71s to 73 and 75, they're quite easy, but I find the 71 even harder than the other 2, which doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've topped out about 74 mil, so I've finished.
Nice. Would you like to know how many points I have so far?
No, 160.
No, 6 million. But I will do it. I just haven't had a chance yet. Work. So okay, no, that's great. So you're enjoying. Would you say you're enjoying the raid then, Jeff?
I think kick size brought an element of skill into the game again, which I find. Yeah, it's quite good.
Okay.
It's not they're trying to grab money off you. If you do it right, they don't take money off you.
And you make a mistake and it costs you.
Well, yeah, but it's your mistake.
Okay, agreed. Okay, let me ask you then, Brian, if your mic works. How is your rate going, buddy?
What was not the pre-show troll where it just decided to... I had green audio dots. It wasn't working. Raid's going fantastic. I did a bit of research from the lovely George showing us how to be a god and hit a 105 for free, and learned from that. Hit some A's, did okay. Learning as I go, getting better. Now I'm at 50 million and I'm done, and I'm just hitting for like gamma shards and random swag and kind of learning how to get better for the next raids in the cycle.
Okay, nice. And are you what fleet are you using, Brian? Are you using Wraiths or?
Yeah, 4 Hell Wraiths. They're all done, all sculled, all built, Corvette led, and just going nuts.
Nice. Just a quickie. Is anyone in the panel using the Phantom Hellwraith?
Don't have one.
No? I just imagine it's going to give you 20% more DPS. I just imagine all it's going to do is speed you up as opposed to save you any money.
I'm using it, but it seems to go quicker than the rest of the fleet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It gets hit first, and then it shoots off and does its own thing and gets killed.
Right. Do you know? Have you tried the Grease Monkey crew? I find that to be quite frustrating because they're always the ship with the most damage tends to just drive off too quickly.
Yeah,
and get itself killed.
And what's annoying? The repair is like 2 hours and 4 minutes, and you think, do I go back for the 4 minutes or do I coin it?
Yeah, and I know what you do, Jeff.
I go back now.
No, don't lie.
No, I do. I won't coin 4 minutes. I won't coin anything under 20 minutes.
I would coin it if it was 2 hours and 30 seconds.
I don't.
No, not really. Okay.
But I think the Ghost one is a waste of time.
The Ghost one?
Yeah, no, the lead ship in the fleet.
The Phantom, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the Phantom's a waste of time.
Well, see, mine's cooking, mine's building at the moment, but it was like a 23-day build, and I just thought, nah, not coining that. So
no, I think it's a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's got 10 days on it, so it'll be 10 days before I can cook a spite up. So I'll just wait this one out, I think. Okay, let me move along to my wonderful fellow admin, George. How are you finding the raid, buddy? I know that you put up a video. What was it? A 6-coin repair for the 105s you put up?
It was, I got 2 of them. One was the first, like in the first hour I tried it, and I used a grease monkey, which was really interesting trying to drive that, getting hit. And I think it was 2 or 3 coin for the first shot that I did. And then yesterday morning I decided to see if I could do one without getting hit using all 4 of the Hell Race, and I got that done too. So I've done both. But the raid, I'm actually a little bit torn. I personally like the targets, but I also have the stuff to do them with, you know. And I'm used to driving subs. You know, it just took a little, knocking some rust off. I don't like the fact that unless you have the long range torpedoes, you're boned. I've seen people hit the 105s with Tiger Sharks. I've seen them hit them with Barracuda. Hell Race, obviously. A lot of people are starting to be able to pick up how to do the 105s for no damage, outside of the lag issue. But, and I'm pretty sure you wanted to discuss this a little bit later, so I don't know if you want me to skip it right now, but the lower targets and the players that are without, I have an issue with, because it's not going to engage them at all. But I don't know if we can talk about that one later. So
okay,
okay. I actually enjoyed the raid.
Okay, no worries. Well, that's 3 out of 3 so far that are saying that they've enjoyed it, which is good, I guess. We'll hit on to some of those other subjects later in the show as well, George. But okay, let me ask Imre, how are you finding the raid, my little thief there?
Well, if I want to look at the targets straight out of the box, well, they have some kind of missed potential, because it is on paper, it's proven that it's possible to do them for free of charge. It's just almost impossible to pull it off. It takes a lot of practice, and in case if you somehow screw something up, immediately you got a hell rate at least 50% dead, if not more. And that's why it's not that much fun. But on the bright side, now at least you got some sort of strategy to work on. You can plan your route. You don't have to shoot sitting ducks and avoid appearing rings. So it's more fun. But well, I'm doing my thing from last month, and I'm doing half prepped 105s at least. And I'm at 64 million right now. Could have done more, but I'm working on it.
Nice. That's a good score. That's an admirable score.
Yeah, thanks to my helpers.
Helpers, you mean? Which world are you in, by the way? Which sector and what's your chords?
Do you want my NI number too?
Yeah. Can I get that too? No, that's fine. No, so you're having a good raid. I think everyone seems to be having a good raid, but I imagine so far. I would love to have someone on the panel tonight that doesn't have Hell Wraiths. That would have made this show interesting. Is there anyone in YouTube that's doing the raid without Hell Wraiths, actually? Because that would be an interesting insight as well. But no, it's very, very interesting to hear the mixed opinions on it. Let me move along to Judge. Is it Judge Steele? Apologies if I can't see your name full there. How are you finding the raid, Judge? Okay.
He had
Judge,
microphone issues last time.
Yeah, I don't know if. Okay. No worries. Let me move on to. I'll come back to Judge. TSM, are you there, buddy? And if so, give us your wisdom. The man, the myth, the legend, TSM. I almost forgot the intro. There you go.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah. Well, I'm done in my raid. I'm just helping out my alliance now. The Yeah, I think I'm a bit like George, to be honest. For me, I'm a sub driver, always have been. I've got lots of sets of subs and that sort of stuff. For me, it's purpose-built RAID. It's almost like they built it for me, to be honest, which I know they haven't. I mean, let's not say that they haven't, but it fits for my mold and my type of gameplay. I remember it reminded me of a raid about 4 years ago where it was a really accurate sort of raid and you had to sort of inch into certain targets. We just happened to be doing it with subs this time, but we did it with some surface fleets a couple of years ago and it was a similar sort of thing. So after literally within about 35 minutes, for me personally, I'm not spending a penny now. I've done 60-something million for 18 coin, and I've done about 2.5 hours of gameplay in total. That's it. It's been nice. quite straightforward, but I have a really fast connection speed here. I don't get any lag whatsoever. My ships nearly always stack perfectly on top of each other because I don't get the lag. Mm-hmm. And I can inch perfect, getting into close to the targets, and I don't go in, so your torpedo range is over the halfway mark of the ship because that's the wrong thing to do. You're too close. You just inch forward a little tiny bit at a time so that you're just kiting them, which is considerably further out than maybe you might think it is. Like George said as well, if you don't have the Scourge torps or the new Twister, you've got no chance at all. You've got to have that torpedo. As I guessed, you don't need any stealth, to be honest. And the only time you're going to see those two yellow rings are if you get too close, to be honest, to the Hulk and one of the scouts at the same time. And then it's good night, sweetheart, you're out of it because you're just going to get annihilated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the targets are running the thermals, so obviously whatever stealth you've got is completely irrelevant.
Mm. Yeah, exactly that. It's just, and those yellow rings just show a range. That's all they show. That's all they show. They're not doing anything else. So, all the stealth in the world is going to make no difference at all. I mean, and George showed his run, that sort of stuff, and I put up a video as well. I did my last two targets. I thought, well, I'll just put it up quickly, just to show the route I've been taking, that sort of stuff. And 2 consecutive runs there on the 105s, and didn't hit, didn't get seen even, not on either of them. So, it was fine. But I did go through and quickly just tried a lower set just after that with a set of Kudas. Didn't go so well, I have to say. Didn't go so well.
Well, do you know what's interesting though is when I did see your video and I went and had a look at these targets myself because I was doing the A set and then I thought I'd go and have a look at the 105s, and for me I don't know if I was just having bad connection today or whether my computer was just being a bit of a pain, but I was very laggy, and I don't even know if it was my sector or the server I'm on. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't stack. I couldn't get the fleets to stack in one position, which made it a complete issue for me to do that whole creep thing, because if I did creep, I was only creeping with one sub. Otherwise, the other 3 would come in and the one sub would trigger. Do you know what I mean? So it was just a joke.
Yeah, that was my advice to the rest of my alliance. I was saying, look, to be honest, if you've got the lag, go put the other 3 away or 4 away, whatever it is. If you've got the Phantom, and just use one sub. Keep away from Imri's crowd, and you have to just basically jump in and do it. Let it time out 2 or 3 times, but at least even if you let it time out 30 minutes for 3.5 million points, it's still reasonable, isn't it? When you think about it, but it does take focus. It does take focus then,
Yeah, or if you actually can do the driving. I mean, if in my video, I think both of my videos, you could see me on stack, and what you can do is you can still do the creeping thing. You just got to pay attention to when the lead one fires, and that's when you got to stop, because you're going to be cut down to just one sub, but you still can do the target without dying. It's just you have to be aware that there's a stacking issue, and it's not a new thing. It's been happening in the 75s with Apollos for a while, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. So
it's important.
Now, yes.
What I didn't like about that point though is because this raid ultimately for those that do have this tech built. So let's just say that you're a player that does have this tech built. Your raid ultimately relies on your broadband speed. Do you know what I mean? Or the quality of your computer. Which is bad. That's very bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm not going to say it's cookie servers. I'm not going to say it's my connection from here to the States. I'm not going to say it's my connection. All I can just say is where I currently am at the moment. I literally have the fiber optic cable from the main link outside my house. Is literally I'm only about 50 meters away, so I'm on the shortest cable link possible to a super fast broadband. that's fiber optic, and I don't get any lags. My ping is 2 milliseconds. You know, that's it, and I have no issues whatsoever.
So we should come around your house for the raid, basically.
Yeah, that's what we should do. Because like I'm out in the country. And you know, I have like, I don't know where the thing is on mine, but I have had to drop out of targets because of the lag. Like I've had to just go in the corner and wait for the whole thing and reset everything and clear cache and do the whole shebang before I try it again.
And the last thing I'll say then quickly is it's not just a case of going in and kiting the targets. You know, it might be worth going back and have a look at the angle that I kite the targets out. If I kite the target and if you're on the wrong side of the target's going to get closer to you. You've got to kite it so that it's just skimming past you. You look at 90 degrees. Otherwise, as it sort of inches forward, you start to kite it. It's going down below that thermal range that's acceptable, and you're going to get caught.
Yeah. So the kiting for me was okay. It was just the fact that my fleets weren't stacking and they were just a mess. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't really control them in the way that I'd seen others do so because of just my computer's either my computer's performance or my broadband's performance or the server I was in. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
They'll never tell us what the thermal range is, but I think it is probably 87. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. It seems so close.
Yeah.
That would be too close.
Can I add something real quick that's not exactly relevant?
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple people that have said, hey, you know, I made a video and I didn't post up because of some reason. Mostly because either, you know, Mark's put one up, Ren's put one up, I put one up. In a raid situation, something like this particularly, man, if you guys have videos, please post them up on the page by all means and add any sort of description, because the thing is there's not one right way to do this. When people see more than one way of doing it, you come up with your own ideas, you come up with a pathing that might work for you, but you also get to see different people doing it different ways, because there is not just one way to do each of these targets. You know, just because someone's, you know, I had one guy send me a video of doing the 105 damage free with just 2 Hellwraiths, and it looked like it actually was better than the way that I did it because he had more control than I did. You know, and I added that to the article. I'd love to see those types of things on the page. So if you have a video, man, by all means share it. Do not feel like you can't share it because other people have already put stuff up.
Mm-hmm. And it's not always going by rote either. There's a lot of improvisation and unique strats to the targets. Like what I like to do that I haven't seen anyone else do is if I get really close but kind of just awkwardly overshoot a scout, like I'm not in their range but I'm just a little off center, on my surface timer, I still have a lot of time under. I'll wait for it to creep into range just barely, and a salvo will take it out. Like I'll wait for 15, 20 seconds to have it just hit that hairline and just bam.
Yeah. And
I have a couple of further questions to ask you after, but I'll carry on moving on. We've got 3 more to get through there, so and then I'll hit you with some what do you thinks. All right, is that cool? So Professor Yana, is that correct? Is that the right pronunciation? How did you find the raid?
I'm actually finding it decent, though I did get kind of a late start. And part of that is because I actually went down to a local concert for a band that I like. So just like, I figure, I'd go there, wait, see what people said, and then give it a shot on my own. One of the things that I do like about the raid is that the lower targets are co-op, so that's going to be very helpful for me getting, a friend of mine, Tiger Sharks and Karens and all that, because he needs them badly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, the co-op elements. I was really glad to see that back in the game. I think it maybe should have been on. It should have. What is it on C and B set? The co-op.
I think that's what they would have been called in the earlier versions of the raid. I think right now they're called Tier 3 and Tier 4.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, with you, yeah. I would like to have seen it in Tier 5 as well, if I'm honest. I know there's different views on that about lower levels getting ahead of what they should have, but I think it should have been in Tier 5, this raid.
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Well, it's and so you're using Hellwraiths, I assume, and
yeah,
and just
I got them in the Hull raid a couple months back. So cool. It's like I figured, I have them. Why not use them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Okay, great. Well, let me then move along to the wonderful Tito. How's it going, Tito?
Hi everybody. No, rate is going good. I like it more than the other one. I find it exciting to have to play against my skills to beat it. I have done it for 0. The only thing is that find it's a bit exhausting. It takes a lot of focus not to get harmed, because every single mistake you do, it's 1 hour at least of damage. Because yes, as some said here, you are losing from 50 to or more, depends how lucky or unlucky you are with the situation of the drones or any other of those scouts over there. I like the rate, and for those that were saying that for the lowers is getting hard, well, at least the low tiers are co-op, so what I did was kill just the thermal for them and just left them kill all the haters around, and they were good doing those targets.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting what you say about the penalty for a mistake, and I think the penalty's too high in this raid. You know, I know that like you can do the targets for free, but if you make a mistake, you suffer severely, and like you say, it can be an hour or more depending on your build. But is that fair? Is that a fair penalty for a mistake, especially considering that mistake could be down to lag or down to a bad broadband speed? I mean, it's a very costly punishment, I think.
As sympathetic as I can be for that, I have never really driven subs before this raid cycle. Like, I've just suicided Nighthawks in because one day I figure I might need them. But I have a satellite connection that gets like 356 kilobits per second. Like, it's really bad. And it's out in the satellite. So, like, the wind I'm getting right now might screw with my connection, and I might just drop out of the show for no reason. Like, that's how fragile the connection is. But I can still do a target for no damage. I can still barely get in and do it. And I'm not even a sub driver. I just picked up and learned and watched and did research. So it can be done with not a lot of prior research and not a lot of initial skill and a bad connection. It's just patience and knowing. TSM said it best. The edge of your ring has to hit the center of their ship. And that's why I waited, because I need to get to the center of their ship, needs to get into the ring before you start firing. And that's really all it takes, is just patience and skill.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's great insight, Brian. Okay, well then let me move along to the last panel member to speak on this. Last but certainly not least, Watao.
I actually enjoyed the raid. I've got an interesting deal with the internet speed. My work computer, when I have the least amount of time to be on the game, I've got a great connection, and I could inch in and do the targets and spend 30 minutes to a target. However, I don't have the 30 minutes to spend. When I get home, I try the same tactic. I don't have the internet speed, and really it's not doable without the internet speed. But I do want to give kudos to Kick. The distribution of the targets across the map this time were great. Being able to locate the targets in the A sets were great. You can go into the A sets with the Hell Race if you're one of these Bull Rush players, want to spend a few coins, and you can get it done not paying total attention and for a reasonable cost. So I think they did good on this raid. I do think the penalty on the 105s is a little high for mistakes made, and there is something to say about the internet speed and play style, actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then let me run a crazy scenario. I've just come along this panel and stole every single member here. I've stole all of your Hell Wraiths. So how are you finding the raid now? How would you do the raid without Hell Wraiths?
Slow as hell, because I have only 2 Tiger Shocks built, and I tried them, and it was taking forever. I could still do it, but it took forever. And I was on a panel last night and watched someone do a 105 with a set of Tiger Sharks that Kixeye had given them. It was the free Tiger Shark set that they gave to people coming back, and they could do it. It took them, I think, 4 entries, and they lost 1 sub, but they did the 105. But the problem is that sub, every sub other than the Hellwraith, is so slow at doing this. It's torturous.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it really
well,
is.
I see, and that was part of the point, I think, as well. Because Hellwraiths are such a good sub, I feel that the Kicks have had to tailor targets towards them to make sure that players that have them can't do it so free or cheaply. But in doing so, it's isolated the rest of the subs, or at least pushed them out, because there's such a large gap between a Tiger Shark and a Hellraid. So, I mean, as great as, like, for me, the raid's straightforward. It's easy. Okay, if I make a mistake, I'll have to spend a few coins, but I can still get this raid done and not have to pay a great deal to do it. And it seems like that's exactly what every single person in this panel has just said. We're all happy with the raid because we all have hell rapes and we can all do it for free. But I would love to know a statistic on how many players in this game have hell rapes built or won the hell rapes. And I know, tough luck on them that they didn't, but still, we have to think about players, newer players, lower levels, mid levels.
What I would like to know is why can't we have more than just one set of targets? I mean, I know that the S target last time was ganked by the ghost crawler community, and that's that's something. But honestly, there was something to be said to Leroy Jenkins a target and get done in 3 minutes. I mean, I was doing the S targets for 3 minutes last time by blitzing them. I loved it. It was a lot less stressful for me than some of this driving. But the other thing is why the C targets are at such a disadvantage for higher level players now because of the point differential. Why don't you put stuff in there that can be done with things other than the subs?
I
would love to see that. I would love to see that.
The only way that they would be able to do that actually is to be able in some way to restrict the targets so that they're not able to be exploited by the players that are going to exploit that, and
you know what?
Totally
put in the C set and the B set. Excuse me, from the Apollo raids, and anybody over level 90 can't hit them. There you go.
Well,
everyone else can farm the hell out of them.
Or likely said GD Raycon in one of the interviews you made here on the show, that he was looking for a way to make it so, depending on the level of the fleet you are taking in, you get the penalty, instead of the level of your base. He said that doing something like that in Vega, that would be nice to be implemented.
That's got to get programmed. That's got to get programmed. So if I'm saying a nice, quick, easy, dirty way to do it, especially in a raid like this, because I know that the numbers are not good in this raid either. Throw in something like that. Take the Apollo raid targets from last raid set, do the B's and C's, spawn them on the map as well, and let people go in and get points that otherwise would not be able to. That way they can get the Hellwraith and they can get the Karen or they can get the Twister.
I just had an idea today. I give this one for free of charge to Kickside. Feel free to implement it. They managed to put a number on each and every single piece of technology that we can get by level. So there's level 1 to 5, right? Now, all they need to do to grab those numbers and say that for C targets, if you use subs with no higher level than tier 3 track on it, then you don't get any penalty. For B sets, you can go up to tier 4, and for A set and higher, you can use everything.
Yeah, I think that's what Tito was saying was do it by the level of the
tier,
the fleet.
But then
I'm not talking about fleet level. I'm talking about the text that you are actually putting on the subs.
So if you're using a tier 5 toll or with tier 5 tech, you have to hit tier 5 target. Is that what you mean?
Like if you grab a fleet of Barracudas and you load it with Charon Torps and Fire Tisters and all kinds of tier 5 tech, then you got the penalty. But if you load it with Assault B torpedoes and battery and cat drive, then no problem at all, no penalty.
Okay, but I can, if I set up Karens on a Barracuda, that shouldn't mean because one's a tier 4 thing, I'm not going to be hitting A sets, with any sort of thrill.
No, but I'm talking about that using this kind of system on the lower targets for C sets and B sets. So you're not bringing overpowered tech into those targets, then you get the maximum that you can get.
I think like
another way to do that
a little bit more complex than what we're thinking because, like I said, take a Barracuda, you can only fit so much DPS on that no matter what you use. But if you use twisters on it and you can only do, say, C sets reliably, you're going to get hit because you're using a tier 5 type of equipment.
Another way they could do it is structure it to where the A sets, the B sets, and the C sets have different tier rewards in those targets alone, to where the players that are targeting, say, a B set or a C set for a tiger shark or for a hell wraith, that's your prize structure, and you've got to go to the higher tier targets like the A sets and the S sets for the higher tier targets.
But then other people don't have the option of grinding. I mean, there's some people that get the top prizes by just flat out grinding.
I think
that for me, I would say that the technology gap between a hell wraith and a tiger shark is humongous.
Yes.
There's those that have and those that don't have, and those that have enjoy and those that don't have struggle, and that's where we are in this raid. And there should have been a gap. There should have been something in the middle of that. There should have been, okay, guys, look, new raid cycle coming up. You better take this hell wraith because you're going to need it. But for those that aren't in a position to win it, we're going to throw this sub into the research lab, research that, and then you'll have a chance too.
That would have been good.
Middle ground it, give them something. And instead of just slapping in the high end, let's also gap the middle while in the process before the raid even comes out.
I might have also put,
sorry, go on.
I might have also put the D63R, is it? The kind of mid-level one. Made that a little weaker and put that in the Forsaken lab. It's Draconian, obviously, which is like make it a Forsaken, better, longer torpedo.
I think Kicksai had it right the last time when they put a penalty on but the penalty was put too low. If they raised the penalty to a 90 or a 95, and then put your percentage down, if you were over 95, hitting lower sets, that would work. But they set it too high. They set it too low the last time, so they penalised people. I forgot, was it 75 or 80? They penalised them, and they should penalise over a 95.
I just think that, I guess we've kind of hit the nail on the head in the terms of the fact, that everyone on this panel has enjoyed the raid. Everyone on this panel has got hell wraiths. Everyone on this panel is done, and I guess that sums up this raid really. Like if you've got what it takes, great. And if you haven't, better luck next time.
I think there's one on this. I think one on this panel hasn't finished.
There's me. Is that because I haven't finished?
Well, the good thing about it is on those lower levels, this raid is definitely not a got-to-have raid. There's nothing in this raid that the lower tiers just are not going to live without.
Right, but the problem is just going to be exacerbated next month if they do the same thing. I mean, it's like it's like the mega hull. They want to push the mega hull. They want to push the mega hull. I mean, I've tried to do the mega hull. I've gone into it with an open mind, but I'm getting frustrated because look, you're pushing this thing, and I can't get the stuff that I need. Your bubble pops before your stuff's done. You can't get the rockets and stuff without going through the TLC that you need to have your mega hull built in order to do. I mean, that's just they throw you in a catch-22 too often right now, and I think that's what's going to happen to most of the players that do not have the Hellwraith right now, because they're not going to be able to get the Hellwraith in this raid. They're not going to be able to get it next raid probably. I mean, and by then you only have one more month that you're going to need it unless you're start talking about uranium. I mean,
I kind of yeah. Sorry, go on. Just go on.
No, I mean that's. I just think that it's just going to be exacerbated unless they come up with some sort of solution.
I mean, I think that it is. I guess it's good to see a panel of players that we aren't all sat here complaining and being completely frustrated and annoyed about the raid, which is great. But because everyone here has managed to do the raid, so that's a good thing. And I do think that Kicksai have done a great job in improving the targets from the last cycle, and especially those abysmal targets we've seen in the campaigns throughout the month. So they've done a great job in changing them. But I kind of like the panel. I like the fact that you guys are all able to do the raid and have all done the raid, but all still kind of wish the raid was better for lower levels, because that shows that you're giving a shit about the game in the lower levels, and that's really what we're about at TFC. So I'm really glad to see you all sort of sharing that opinion. So let me ask you then, maybe one by one, how do you think Kicksai can change, can maybe not necessarily change, but how can they improve the system to make it better for the lower levels in your alliance and maybe some of your friends and whatnot? Let me start with you, Jeff, on the far left again.
Well, co-op all of them.
Co-op all of them. That's good. I like that. I said that myself today somewhere. I'm sure I did.
If they co-opt all of them, then we could help, because we could give them bigger chunks of the apple. At the moment, funny enough, I've just worked it out. The lower people are far better off because they can get 3.5 million. They can get the sub, torpedo, and the guidance system. Now, that's all right for the lower people. The really low people, 3.5 is not hard to get. But it's people in the middle that haven't got the Hell Wraith, which are struggling. It's not the lower people, it's the middle people who are struggling in this rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the lowers aren't even looking, are they? Or they are, you know.
3.5 is not hard to get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you need to get. Let me refresh.
The Neptune and whatnot, or the Tiger.
To get the Tiger, the Sharon torpedoes, and the stealth attack system, 3.5 million. Mm-hmm. But like I say, I think it's the middle people that are struggling, and it should be a complete co-op system, and that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, or at least co-op right up to tier 5. You know, that would. I wouldn't expect them to co-op tier 6, but tier 5 at least, because that way you can at least help. You can help to an extent for the mid levels as opposed to just the lower levels, because you're not going to spend all year going for B and C sets to help people, are you? I mean, that's just crazy, especially if someone's looking to get the top prizes.
No, but like you say, I still think tier 6 should be co-opted.
Okay.
All of it should be co-opted, and then we can level the playing field ourselves and not ask Kickside to level the playing field.
Mm-hmm.
That would destroy my current raid style.
Well, let's go through one by one. Let me go to you, Mr. Brian. How are you doing? And what do you think Kickside could do? I mean, like, we're not here saying that the raid is terrible, we hate Kickside, all that kind of crap, but we're looking to improve the raid because there is issues at the lower end and mid-level, as we've discussed. So what do you feel about that, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty bad because a lot of the newer and even somewhat veteran players have a while to go before they're able to acquire the top tier tech pretty easily. One of the things I'm just not sure about, I haven't tested, if someone could answer that would be great, is the thermal range on the scouts in the B and C tiers. Is that still like 86 or 87 or whatever? Because you do kind of have to plan for them not having the long range torps and have them able to do it. Co-op is a good idea. I'd almost be willing to accept a point penalty on the Is if they were to do it co-op, because I feel like that's what happened with the B and Cs. But just really and truly plan for testing the lower tier targets against all lower tier tech, not just, you know, Kudas with skirmishers. Try Kudas with B torps, and base it on those things. Just keep them in mind.
Yep. That's sorry. I'm just pouring another whiskey. I wasn't expecting you to end there. Okay, no, that's great insight, Brian. Great insight, and I always enjoy hearing your perspective as well. Let me move along to the wonderful Mr. George. And let me pronounce your second name again. Where is it? No, I won't.
Yeah, you should be more formal and call him by the surname.
Yeah, we'll be formal for tonight. Look, I think the problem is more of an underlying problem with the game and some of the mentality of the older players. You know, most players that come in, especially newer players and mid-level players, they just want to feel a sense of relevancy. They want to feel that, you know, they can get somewhere in this, which, you know, this is why I'm saying give choices for the targets for the lower players. Maybe have 2 different sets of B and C targets, but on a grander scale, you have to get the players in a place that they can become relevant in the game quicker. You can't expect them to do the same thing that we did when we first started playing. It's not going to take them a year to get in and be relevant. Otherwise, they're just not going to stay. I'm not going to be able to get a new alliance guy that I just picked up to stay if I can't get them, playing with us and feeling relevant inside of a month, let alone a year. So I think there's a little bit of underlying issue going on, and I think that kind of bleeds into the raids as well. But the raid, as far as the raid for the mid and low level players, they've got to give them some options. I mean, that's the thing, is they have to give them some options to get some points and feel like they're doing something.
George, you're right to can you do me a favor, George, and rattle a few more draws, mate, please?
That's Jeff. I just
sorry. Sorry. I was meant to say Jeff. No, I agree with your points there, George, as well. I do. Yeah, I don't know if there is an issue with the mentality of players in the game. That's for sure. And I think for too long, players got to the expecting everything for free kind of mentality. And I could probably sit here and I could do like a 6-hour show on fucking talking about the mentality of the game and the progression of players' perspective and all that kind of shit. Do you know what I mean? Get all philosophical on you guys, but no, I think there is some issues. There's issues on both sides. There's definitely issues in the player mentality, but I think that's been Kickside driven for so many years that even like the last 10 months has been great for Kickside. They've done so many fucking amazing things, but no one remembers it because all they care about is what Kickside did yesterday. That's the problem in that regard. But there's a lot of things that Kickside need to do differently too. And this raid cycle is just bad. It's just bad, Kickside. I said it from the day one. Ren said it from day one.
Yeah, they picked something. They picked something that a lot of people just didn't like doing.
Yeah, I mean, there's how many actual hull prints are in this game? 100. How many sub prints are in this game? Less than 10. So, and I'm not counting phantom leads, but let's just there's less than 10, and you've made a raid based on that. Hey, why not just make the next raid based on gunboats? It's just
don't tempt them.
It doesn't make sense.
I could do that.
And you get your golden gunboat out there. You get your April FAT gunboat, the April 1st tournament. Get that gunboat, yeah.
Well, they should have. To be honest, before they brought us a sub raid, they should have brought us more subs. They should have released a few different subs here and there. Maybe put one in tier 5 of the Forsaken missions. Bring out a campaign with one in. And I'm not talking about phantom leads in a campaign. I'm talking about just releasing. They should have released a string of subs leading up to this because I think that would have completely changed this raid cycle for everyone.
Yeah, and between the Tiger and the Hellwraith, maybe
even putting 3 or 4 steps between the Tiger and the Hellwraith.
Yeah,
would have been right move to do. Okay, then let me. Sorry, I've even forgot the original question. I think it was what kicks I could do to maybe improve the experience for this raid cycle. Let me ask you, Imre, how do you feel about it?
Can I pass for a minute? I'm right now driving.
You're driving?
Oh yeah.
Hey man, don't.
We caught him stealing. We caught him stealing.
Like actual physical driving? Don't do that.
Physical driving or driving fleets, Imre, because you can't drive.
Driving subs actually.
He's just stealing another 105.
Yeah, he's thieving right now.
Okay, let me then move on. Judge, how is your mic working out for you, buddy? Have you got your mic back on track? Interesting intake there, Judge. Appreciate that. Let me move on to... No, Judge, is it... Sorry, you've just unmuted yourself. Are you working there, buddy?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you finding the raid? And what do you feel could be improved?
The raid is very hard. I just...
Okay.
12,000 points.
Okay. The raid. You've got 12,000 points. Did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I ask you, Judge, what fleets are you using?
I tried to use a Nighthawk, but it doesn't work.
Nighthawk. Okay. So you've got the perspective of what I actually wanted to hear on this show, and that was like the player that doesn't have Hellwraiths. So have you given up? Have you given up, or are you going to continue to try, or?
I gave up.
You gave up.
I'm doing campaign.
You're doing campaign, right? Okay. So how do you feel from a player in your perspective that has the fleets you have? What can Kickside do to make this raid playable to you?
Well, the targets to be a little bit cheaper and to game is actually too much on coining. Myself, I'm not coining.
Right. So you're not a coiner yourself. You like to try and grind out what you can and see what you can get, and if that's it, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, what subs do you said you use Nighthawks? Did you say what torpedoes you running on them?
EP55 something like that.
Okay, and it's just the raid is just not playable at all for you in any level, even in the lower sets.
No.
Mm-hmm. See, that's the problem. There should be a set available for a player. I don't know what level you are, what your circumstances are, but for a player that has your kind of tech, your kind of torpedo, your kind of sub, there should be something available for you to at least grind your way up to 3 million and collect the Tiger Shark. I think that the C sets, whatever they've bracketed them as, I think that they're just too powerful for lower end tech.
Yeah, I can say they're too strong.
Okay,
You know,
then that's a great bit of information. I hope Kix really listen to that, because
I could get a deflated Nighthawks there and the simple dies. Boom.
Well, I mean, let me just say, if Kixeye made a system where C sets were worth 0 points to anyone past, level 60 or something, and were worth a fairly grindable amount of points to a player in your level, where you could actually hit them, they were dead easy. Let's just say Kixeye made like C sets or whatever number they've given it, but I'm just going to say C sets because I'm lazy. If Kixeye gave that target, made it really easy, and made it so players like me couldn't get any points out of it, but players like you could at least grind it for a couple of days and get your way up to 3 million to get a Tiger Shark, that would be probably perfect for you, correct?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that's okay. I kind of wish that there was some Kicks I'm watching tonight as well, because it would be great to have someone in the chat. But I think that the issue does lie with players at your bracket, because you don't represent the low level. You represent, I would feel, middle range, especially if you have Nighthawks. So Kicks need to patch that. They need to provide tech your way, or at least a target that tailors to your level, so you can be competitive in this raid, or at least competitive to a level where you can collect something and not just give up. Okay, no worries. Well, I appreciate that, Judge. You got a bit of a fan issue going on your computer, but I've grinned and bared it because your opinion is definitely something we wanted to hear tonight. Let me move along to the wonderful, if he's back, Mr. TSM, the man, the myth, the legend that is the sub-goddess TSM.
Yeah, I'm here, mate.
Goddess. Yeah.
Goddamn something. I don't know about that.
Okay.
I mentioned it before. There's a couple of issues here. If you're doing the C set, you're doing the C set with either Kudas or Nighthawks, and you're doing the C sets then, and potentially the B sets, with a torpedo that's only got a range of 78. So the thermal's got to be set at 76, something like that. Any more than that, you've just written them off. So that's the first point. Set the thermal range. And it may be, I mean, I'm not going to hit those targets because I'm not going back down to that level. But you definitely need to have the target set to the person that's going to be attacking the target. And yeah, you can blank us all out the higher levels, or just say that, you know what, if you take a certain sub into the lower level target, you ain't going to get no points. Nothing at all. That's the easiest way to think of it.
Can I add into what you're saying there, Mark? I didn't mean to interrupt. But would any of you guys even care on the panel if Kixeye said, here, guys, here's a seed set for the lower levels, grind up to 3 million, would any of us complain at that and say that's not fair?
Nope.
No, hell no.
No, I would applaud them. Good job, Kix.
I can't see the need. I just, and I have, and there's 3 or 4 people in my alliance in the chat, right? And I've sat down for nearly like a 48 hours straight when I was a level 17, level 18, that sort of stuff, and I've ground and ground and ground and ground, but I could grind. You can't grind these; it's not possible. Absolutely no chance. And to advance, if you can't afford it at the moment, one thing you can afford is time, generally. And if you can afford the time, you can grind it. If you haven't quite got the tech, but you should be able to get that tech within 2 raids where you don't necessarily need to grind so much. That's one thing. And another thing I think as well, I think 3 months is a reasonable shelf life. So what's wrong with putting the Hellwraith that's now nearly 3 months old and then start putting it inside the tech to get the Hellwraith, split it into 7, and then go and put it out on the sea. And then you start hitting the res, and you start getting component parts for the Hellwraith. Once you've got all the component parts of the Hellwraith, you also get a torpedo, and you also get a special. It may take you 2,000 targets to get those points, as it does sometimes when we used to do the old draconian parts. But that will get people then, during the rest of the month, going out there, hitting those targets, have them blow up every 15 minutes, whatever it is, so they recycle. But that gets the lower people then going out and collecting, hitting res and that sort of stuff. They're learning to drive, they're learning to play the game, but they're also getting something out of it. And if they haven't quite got the tech to kill a 75E and that sort of stuff, or whatever it is, or a 71 or something, well, then they'll understand that. But ultimately, the higher level tech guys, they don't need that shit. We'll go and hit bases if we want res, or we'll go and do the FM and tier 6 and that sort of stuff. But everybody else can just, they can creep up where they've missed out maybe in the raid. And 3 months down the line, if it takes them a further 31 days, basically, if they're grinding, say, 200, and 200 is a reasonable number, if they were to grind 200 a day, and then within 30 days, they could have that blueprint and then just start building their submarines. By that time, we're on to the next 3 or 4 raids time. We're on to the next cycle almost, but at least they've caught up. And then it's not cost them anything, apart from seat time.
Agreed. I think that's.
I like that idea.
There's no loss. There's no loss. There's no loss to the other players. We don't care. That time's gone. I'm not interested.
And I think the good thing about that idea too is that if you're willing to put in the time and you want to spend 10 hours a day on the game, and in a week or two you might actually get it. That's great, because you have just been engaged with the game. You've been playing. You've been engaged with the community. You've been on, online, and you're going to stay playing. I mean, if you've invested that much time, you're going to want to keep on going.
And that time, George, is beneficial as well, because at the end of the day, that player that could be a level 40, it could be a level 50, it could be a 65 even, but at some stage he'll have some res in his base, and he's been out hitting all those things, and somebody just might come and hit him and steal all that res off him and do themselves a favour as well. But pay it forward system, it's the big fish versus the little fish. He'll go, oh damn, well I've got some points, but I've now got a res, I need to go and hit some more. It's getting more people than interested in the game. Problem is the game at the moment is directed towards the big players. And we can't keep the little players.
Can I ask you guys a question? Something that I forgot to bring up earlier, and on point with what Mark's discussing there. So, are we overlooking the foundry in this? Is there available tech in the foundry for players to grind the foundry to get themselves in a position?
We didn't need the foundry, to be honest.
I agree.
I mean, yeah. The tech is there, but I think it's just one step up from where it should be. Because if you're going to say, hey, we have the foundry and this can get people relevant in the game again, you kind of can't really, look, you need the Citadel and stuff to hit the 109s and crap. It's the top one. You have to hit the 109 in order to get the Citadel to hit the 109. I don't like that setup. But, did we need it? Probably not. I mean, there was already something in the game they could have done the foundry through. They just decided to do the foundry instead, but it's here. We got to deal with it.
I did one level in the foundry just out of interest, and I actually went all the way through one level. I had a couple of things already, but I went through and I looked at the process of the foundry. To me, we didn't need the foundry. If you could have had, quite straightforward, you've got all the salvage out on the ground already. You'd have had far less rubbish out there. If you could just said, right, I'm going to hit that 75 salve, and from that's the top salve out there. There's a little drop-down menu at the end of it, and it says, right, what would you like? Would you like a component part for this ship? Would you like a component part for that submarine? Or would you like a component part for this? And then you can just say, right, okay, I'm going to go hit 71. Well, that's the next tier down. You can have a component part for this, 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 and this. It could be a special and that sort of stuff. The tech was there. They just had to slightly adjust it. They didn't have to add stacks more targets.
So the foundry was introduced. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, George. Carry on.
You're fine.
Sorry, I was just going to say, so obviously Kicks, they introduced the foundry as the whole point of the foundry coming was to benefit players either new in the game or outdated, that would give them an opportunity to say, let's just say they needed a feat for Forsaken missions or for the raid or for this or for that. They can go in there and they can start grinding it out, and they can get the tech required to get them up to a point where they're relatively current, or at least be able to compete. I've never been in the foundry because I've never needed to, because I had all the stuff in there before it came out, and I have had all the stuff since, so I've just never even needed to look at it. So my question to you guys is, do you feel that the foundry has even served its purpose? Is it correct to be there? Does it need adjusted and tweaked, or does it just do we not need to see it?
Get rid of it.
I think I need a huge adjustment, because basically the way I see it is for the one that already has that tech to improve it. So those foundry levels, like we were retrofitting holes in the past. But for the new one, having to need the tier 5 tech to get tier 5, or at least on the top tiers, you need to have that tech first to be able to achieve it. It was even a mistake on the Citadel a few weeks ago that you needed to have the Citadel in order to be able to get the Citadel again. And actually, that was a mistake, but it was clearly the truth. Because as many pointed here, if you don't have a Citadel or Vendetta to hit those 102 and 109, you are not going to get those Citadel tokens, because we are talking about having to get, I don't know now, but I think it's over 130 or 140 parts. So that's not easy to get for somebody that doesn't have the tech to go continuously to hit those targets.
Mm-hmm. My concern is, though, look, I mean, I'm looking at the garrison targets now. Okay, so the garrison in the foundry. So you've got Strike Cruiser, and then you've got Dreadnought X, Nova Storm, Berserker, and Citadel. That is inch perfect now for a level 27. You know, for a level 35, for a level 45, for a 55, and then a 75 of the elite targets. And if a low level wants to hit the 75s, if he hasn't built his fleet right, he's going to take damage. There's no doubt about it. We all knew back in the days when you hit that top level cargo ship that was on the sea, you were going to take damage unless you had a specific, you know. But you aired off that damage and based it against what your return was. So the target's are already there, ready for the foundry stuff. The problem with the foundry is you've got to step through all these other steps. So the first thing that you're going to find that's half decent now for doing these targets is probably the Nova Storm. Okay, but you're not going to be able to do, well, you might be able to get some 105s done, because I did see someone do it. But, you know, then you've got to go through the Berserker, and then you've got to say, well, do I build a Berserker? Well, clearly not. So I've just gone through a whole other level for no reason, just before I can even start entering the Citadel. That's a hell of a lot of targets that you've got to go and hit. Whereas
well, see, the reason I'm...
You know,
sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying, if you hit 75, the drop-down menu says you can have one of your 55 Citadel parts, and you can say, I want that Citadel part. That's exactly what I want. And then go click, right, okay, it's now gone down. If it was 20, it's now 19. So I need to go and hit another, elite 75, that sort of stuff. Or something similar.
There is a skirmish section in there, and the reason I guess I brought up the foundry is because that quite often when I've even had conversations with people about the ability of players to be able to get caught up and stuff, foundry is often one that's pops up. Well, have they tried the foundry? Why have they tried this? And personally, I don't feel the foundry is correct. I don't feel that the foundry is working as intended. I feel that the purpose was right and the reason it was created was correct, but it hasn't been delivered correctly. And I think that this raid is a prime example of that, because if you look at the skirmish section of the foundry, it's not right. It can't be right, because otherwise everyone would be able to do this raid correctly.
Right. I think they can help out the foundry in a lot of ways. The first is, like others have said, reducing the tech level by 1. You shouldn't have to have Citadels to hit Citadels. Drop that a level, sure. Put the fragments and other easier to hit targets. Yes, that's good, because they take less seat time, they take less repair time, and I think third is drastically reduce the number of fragments that you need for a lot of these, because when you're getting up to the high-end stuff that allows you to be able to do anything, you have to hit like 40, 50, 60 of the highest-end targets just to get the print, not even to retro. And we're not even talking about getting the other quote-unquote necessary tech, like Siege Battery or the Judgment Mortar or whatever, which would also probably need to be dropped a level. It just takes too long to do that. So just drastically reducing cycle time to get a piece and the number of pieces, I think, would help along greatly, both for getting the holes and retroing the holes. Because, and removing the, or fixing the shard cap, where if you have your max Citadel fragments for the hole and you get more, they're wasted. No, that should go to the other way. The whatever tier 5 siege fragments, whatever they're called. You shouldn't ever go out and hit a target and have that be completely pointless. That shouldn't happen when you're trying to help new people. Pointless roadblock, gone.
Agreed. Well, guys, there's been some very interesting food for thought here, and I think we've really hit some good subjects tonight. So it's been a very, very interesting show. Is there more subjects that anyone wants to discuss?
Scoria. I guess my correction should come here too. I was wrong on the Tuesday show. Redid the math with George and Hefe, and they're nice about it. And it turns out if you're against something that's more than half health, the blade is better. Something less than half health, the Scoria is better. I was really happy about the Scoria, but now I'm a little sad because they're probably going to make tougher targets with more total health to make the Scoria better in more situations. I wish that wasn't the case, but at least they kept them close in power. So the Scoria missile on its own isn't a must-have. So
there's an interesting subject being brought up in a YouTube chat as well by someone. They've asked the panel, is there life on Mars?
So NASA's keeping it covered up. They have those documents in the same filing cabinet as with the moon landing. You got to enter like a PIN code and retina scan and all that, but you'll find it there and there.
I know there's life on Uranus, but I've got cream for it.
Oh God.
Oh,
well, all I can say is there is.
Oh man. I do actually. I want to address two things. One was the yellow ring. A lot of people keep on getting confused about the yellow ring. It is not a crazy Kixeye conspiracy. It's not super, combined thermal. The yellow ring will come up when you are in the range of that torpedo, but not in the range of the thermal that ship has. So if you get spotted by either the drones or the big hulks, or you surface and you're in range of that torpedo, that yellow ring will come up because you're out of the range of the thermal of that ship. I'm fairly confident from what I've heard from a couple of different moderators that is exactly what it is. It's not some crazy triangulation something. I don't know what everyone's been coming up with, but it's just a range ring. That's it. The other thing is crew drops. We talked about this, I think, last week, and several of the admins have spent a bunch of time rolling. I know Liam, I think, had the best results of everybody, but
well,
we all rolled, and I did roll a couple of GMs. I did not, however, drop a DOS. Did anyone else that was rolling drop a DOS?
I got the other one though, the demolition.
I'm afraid I did.
You got a demo. You got a bunch of GMs.
Well, going off of last Saturday's show, it was last Saturday's show that we were discussing that crews came up, and as a test, right, I wanted to. So what George is saying there, as a test, I wanted to see if rogue crews were truly broken. So I think, I'm not sure if it was a Sunday or something, that I actually just sat down from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and rolled crews, and I kept going out, filling up, coming back, rolling crews, and I rolled something like 3 grease monkeys, 2 demolitions, 2 radar runners, like just completely tons of silvers. It was just ridiculous what I was rolling. I didn't get any DOS, but I completely filled up my crews with gold and silvers, and I did it in one evening. So this whole speeches everywhere of people saying that Kixeye adjusted and manipulated stuff. I mean, I did that just to see for myself if I noticed any change in the rolling of crews, and I noticed no change. So. And I don't know about the DOS, all right? I don't know if something's changed there. But what I'm saying to you is, in terms of the drop rate of grease monkeys and silvers, that I certainly noticed no difference.
Yeah, I mean, I rolled, and I've noticed that they don't drop as often, but they still do drop, except for the DOS.
Well, that must be your case, because in my case was the opposite. I didn't drop any single grease monkey, but I dropped 3 doses of those and 5 demolitions squad. I have no idea how many both sides I got this time, but yes, 5 or 6 as well. But I think that what sometimes is that we get depressed because we don't get what we wanted. I wanted a grease monkey. I have not a single one this time, but I have what all the other people want and they don't get.
Well, I don't think it's that. I mean, I think the thing that we were noticing is, especially the people that roll a lot. Like, I mean, I'll sit down and roll 2 to 5 million in a day. And you know, there was a certain pattern that I had gotten used to when I rolled, and the pattern has changed. I just don't know, you know, how bad it is. You're the first person that I know that has actually dropped a DOS.
I've dropped one as well, mate.
You know,
But
you've dropped three-day tokens too, Mark. You don't count, man. I don't know. What's
I know.
going on
I've been
with
lucky.
you.
I mean, this. I did the same thing. Probably the same day as Liam. I rolled 2.5 million. Went straight out and just kept recycling. I wrote it down actually. So I got a DOS. I got 3 demos. I got a grease monkey, and I got 2 blue. Oh God, salty dogs.
Did you write down how many million you used?
2.5. Just under 2.5. Yeah.
I rolled less. I rolled less than
I
that.
hate to jump to you.
I rolled less than that between that time and I remember I was posting photos, man, and you guys were going to kill me. But
I was getting pissed, man. You kept on friggin' messaging me, and I'm like, I'm gonna murder you.
Well, I don't know, man. I don't know what it's based around. I guess it's just luck of the draw, you know.
Did you guys have any trouble rolling Silver Junkyard Crew during the last couple of weeks?
I
got 3.
I got a couple of them.
I only managed to find 2 of them right before the raid, but before that, for like 2 or 3 weeks, 0. Just the normal ones.
Believe it or not, I've got so many death from aboves. It's unreal.
Same here.
You know, they're just
I've been those. All of
Those
crew.
That is the most useful one right now.
Those
After Lucky Bastards is the most.
Look, Lucky Bastards, I can understand because people still will use them if they start the game or something. But Death from Above does not work. Mm-hmm. It's a one or the other type of thing, and if your hull has that, it's not going to work at all. So
no, I was joking. I roll past them Death from Above.
I've binned all the ones I had.
But bear in mind, Kickstarter bringing in the Flame Dancer drones next month. That dance in the fire pools of the the flamethrower tank lead.
He's had too much whiskey taken away from him.
It's a joke. But you never know. UAVs could become useful again, is what I'm saying. I'm expecting a UAV ship from Kickstarter. I hope so. Anyway, I hope so. But I don't know. Looking at the Spite special ability, I kind of almost am instantly thinking that we're going to see a ballistic reaver baser as well as a base guard in the next 2 months. But,
yeah.
Hey, what do I know? Yeah. But yeah. Okay, guys. Well, listen. Sorry, I'm derailing now, aren't I? Any other topics other than the amount of whiskey I've drank already?
Why are you not drinking rum?
Because a good old friend of mine that was in the Navy said that rum is rum, bum, and Navy fun. And that's why I avoid it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, just because I live in Scotland now, and that's what they do up here. It's like water. They just drink whiskey.
This is the Dark Souls raid. Get good.
Get good.
Basically.
Guys, any more topics, any more subjects? We are a little bit over, but it's been such a great show. I mean, if there's anything else anyone wants to go into, then please continue.
Well, I kind of missed my turn, so if I can get back to what kicks I should do about the raid. So definitely for the little guys, they need to give a hand, because right now either they somehow get better subs, which they don't have access to, other than killing themselves in the rivers around the uranium bases non-stop. So they need to give them a hand there. And this co-op thing, not really working, I'd say, because you can only go into C sets with them, which, well, it pays change only, or B sets, which might be good for something, but realistically, they can only get the Tiger Shark at best from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly think that for the low targets, they should just remove the thermal and put the normal sonar. They don't have the tech to go much farther over that sonar, so they should be okay with that.
Yeah, but they are thinking about the level 90 guys who are too stupid to build decent subs, and since they can't do A sets and S sets, they are going to go after the C and B sets.
Bear in mind the sonar code was broken, wasn't it? Which is why they introduced firmware in the first place, because people were being able to make sonar values that were going well above anything that any ship could ever read. So
yeah,
it was actually Cloak. If I remember correctly, the particular combination was high stealth specters with the Crypt Keeper's crew. And
The Crypt Keepers
that's why
took it to
that's
something
why
like.
they brought in the. It started out with super sonar, and then when people started kvetching about that, they brought in, okay, we'll do thermal imaging instead. Set detection range.
I'm sure I remember something about sonar being broke, because otherwise we'd be in a game where thermal wouldn't be needed anymore.
It was more that the cloak was broken.
No, it was mostly the cloak because they had taken out the crew. But I remember a lot of people were mad about this, that you could build a Reaper to do one of the raids that had the super sonar in it, and you could just barely pull it off, but it screwed everybody else, and they couldn't correct for that. It was either you're going to use a Reaper in a certain combination to be able to do the raid, and nothing else was going to work, or they had to come up with another solution.
Kind of like this raid, huh?
This.
Yep.
FYI.
Well, they came with a solution to that Reaper. It was to put you in the middle of the ships, and since the Reaper was surfacing, the first you were doing was getting a blast.
Who remembers the great Reaper nerf of yore?
Oh, I remember the crying.
Oh yes. Well, listen, guys. Before I derail further and start talking about my aunts, uncles, cousins, dogs, cat, sister, let's maybe look towards ending the show. Unless there's any other real big topics anyone wants to bring out, then I'll say the ending.
I mean, do we talk about the title of the show, or is that
the title of the show is called The Stroking, and that happens in the after show, because then I stroke everyone. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh dear.
I think I have to go cook some dinner. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, I need whiskey for.
They said that.
Well, listen, I have to bring the viewers in somehow, and I know the BP community. What can I say? Just kidding. No, guys, so it's been a great show. I really appreciate everyone coming out to watch us tonight, and I really appreciate everyone that's came on to talk tonight. You guys have really discussed some great topics tonight and gave some great insight into the game. Have a great raid, everyone. If there's any tips that we can give you, please ask in a page. And if not, I wish you all the best. And we'll see you in Tuesday's show. All the best.
Night all.
All right.
All right.
Night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Good night.